Why they fought the way they did long ago, then I'll fire this off. And to begin with, the weapon I have here is a musket. It is a smoothbore weapon, basically like a shotgun, just a straight tube. And like a shotgun, it is a short-range weapon. It's good at about 100 yards. It's about the length of what? Football field. Everybody can visualize it. You got to get close. How many shots do you get with this weapon before you have to reload it?
One.
One. And it takes 15 seconds to reload. That is the fastest thing you have available. But it's 15 seconds. So you're going to do something with your men that seems odd to modern day people, but it makes this weapon work. It's called the line of battle. That's where the men are side by side, 2, maybe 3 rows deep. What that allows for is all the men along that line can fire their weapons towards the enemy. Now, it takes 15 seconds to reload. Is it a good idea for everybody to shoot at the same time? No, because you're all empty. So the beauty of the line is organization. And an army thrives on organization. You're going to break that line up into firing sections, platoon or company. You're going to alternate your fire by sections so that while some guys are shooting, what are the other guys doing?
Reloading.
Reloading. And that allows you to continually cycle bullets towards the enemy with these single-shot weapons. Now, that gives you the firepower you're looking for, but it bothers modern people. They look at that line and think, oh my gosh, they're all going to get shot. You would think so, but the vast majority of bullets in combat miss. They did then, and they still do in modern combat. It's volume of fire. The more bullets you put over there, the better your chances of having some success. Most of the bullets will miss, but you'll hit some of the enemy and hopefully scare the rest of them so badly they do what?
Retreat.
Retreat, because if they're leaving, they're not shooting at you. That's good enough. Now the gunfire can be pretty terrifying. They'll often make an enemy leave, and that's not enough. That's where that bayonet becomes critical. Now the bayonet certainly can be quite deadly as a spear, but very few soldiers actually get killed or wounded by bayonets throughout history. It's mostly bullets doing the damage on the battlefield. The thing to keep in mind is you're trying to scare those people away. If you imagine yourself in that line for a minute, bullets are whizzing through the air, they're not hitting a whole lot, but they're getting close and it's getting pretty scary. You're frantically trying to get that weapon reloaded, and then the guy next to you gets hit. That ounce bullet slams him into you while you're trying to get this thing loaded, and as if that's not enough distraction, you got a line of men with bayonets coming right at you. If you're the average person in that situation, what are you probably thinking about at that time?
Running.
You want to get out of there. It's one of the challenges that they face when they're training these men. You're asking them to keep that line together when every survival instinct you have is screaming at you to run. But if you can keep that line together, your strength is in your unity. You keep that line together, you got the organization, the fire discipline. So you're putting enough bullets over there that hopefully they leave. You keep that line together, that allows the teamwork you need to use those bayonets to defend each other, or better yet, make them leave. But if the line's broken and it's every man for himself, have we got any teamwork anymore?
No.
Nope, and you've lost. Something else to consider. Weapons don't work every time. Modern weapons malfunction, they misfire. And they certainly did back then. In this time period, you're relying on flint, this rock, striking a piece of steel, making sparks and igniting a charge of gunpowder. This was the state of the art. It's a good system, but does it work every time?
No.
Very few things do. So the way you get around that is by putting a whole bunch of them together. Even though some of the weapons along that line are going to misfire, most of them will go off. So the line is making this work to its peak. Now something else you'll notice when I fire this in a moment, it's going to produce a lot of smoke, it's going to be loud, and this is one.
Mom, it's gonna
Not hundreds of these things going on. If you guys right now are all fired muskets, there would be a huge cloud of smoke in your faces. What problem do you have right away?
You can't
see.
You can't see. It's one of the reasons you're not hitting much. It's very confusing for those men. The line will keep them organized, allow that high rate of fire. So even without a clear target, there is that potential to hit something across the field. The other thing is the noise. It's going to be deafening. If you as a soldier are going to know what you have to do on that battlefield, what do you have to hear from the officers?
Orders.
Having them close together allows that critical communication to take place. So there are a lot of really good, very valid reasons for those lines, given the technology that you're limited by. Now I'm going to use a little modern technology and put in some hearing protection, something they did not use. And if you care to cover up when I fire, when I shout make ready, that's the time. On the battlefield. Again, those formations are very close together, so you have to do things the same way. It's what's called the manual exercise. You're given the command to prime and load. Bring that weapon to the priming position. Reach into your pouch and pull out a cartridge. What would be in that paper tube?
A bullet and the
Today,
gunpowder.
there's no bullets, just the gunpowder. Tear it open. Pour some powder in the pan and shut that. Remember, that's where the spark is made. Everything else then would go down the barrel. We push the powder and the shot to the breech with the rammer. It doesn't get stuck on you. Put that back so you can load the next shot. And then you'll come back to the shoulder. That's going to be a signal to your commander. When he looks down the line, sees the men shouldered, what does he know?
You're ready to
Loaded,
fire.
ready. 3 commands then. Make ready, take aim, fire. Make ready! Take aim, fire! And I just had a classic misfire called a flash in the pan. What happened is the fire ignited the charge in the pan, but there's blockage here in the vent. What often will happen in combat is that the paper from the cartridge will sometimes get in front of the hole. And if that happens, of course the fire can't get to the main charge. So what I'm going to do is make sure there's no blockage there. Force a little bit of powder in there. So hopefully this will go this next time. Meanwhile, I would be very, very happy to have a whole bunch of my best buddies on either side of me who are still shooting. So again, you see the utility of that line when you have misfires.
Ow.
And then you start that process again. You keep it up until either the enemy's running away or you are. All right, so let's review real quickly. Everybody should know the answers to these questions because they're simple ones. What is your weapon typically going to be? Musket. Are they good at long distances?
No.
No. Do they work every time?
No.
So how do we position our men to get the best out of this weapon? We're putting those lines. Now you shoot a lot of bullets. Do you necessarily hit much?
No.
No. So what are we trying to do with the gunfire?
Make them retreat.
Make them retreat. And if the gunfire doesn't do that, what do you have on your weapon that's really scary because you're in that line?
Bayonet.
Bayonet. For all that to work, you need those lines, that discipline, and that training.